Let me go. I don't wanna be your hero. I don't wanna be a big man. I wanna fight like everyone else.
You're a masquerade. I don't wanna be part of your parade. Everyone deserves a chance to walk with everyone else.
Yo guys, welcome to the third lockdown podcast. I mean, it's a bit strange being 3 weeks in a row, but we're making do.
We're here, guys. We're here, and it's a different one because it's not just me and Rowan this time. We're doing a bit of a high school reunion. It's really exciting for us because we thought in lockdown, why don't we try and make the most of it and catch up with our old high school friends since we just graduated. So we've got 3 ex-high schoolers that we went to school with, obviously, and we're going to have them on. We'll talk about their high school experience, what they're doing now, any advice that they'd give to you guys if you're still in high school, and exciting stuff, Rowan.
Yeah. And kind of like, I don't know, it might be a good perspective for like older people to see as well, like how like the younger generation is feeling, looking, what we're doing, what we want, and how the high school experience was. So it's going to be pretty exciting. So Pat and I, we went to the same high school, Rosebank College.
That's it.
And well, I personally loved it. I don't know about you.
Oh, mate, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
It was so much fun. I reckon, did you want to tell them how we met, Pat?
Yeah.
I think it's... Yeah,
so it's actually kind of funny because like Rowan and I mentioned, like when we were starting the podcast, we actually didn't really become close friends until after school. But Rowan, funnily enough, was my first friend because I knew absolutely nobody. And I find my way to maths class on my first day. This is in year 8, so you guys were already settled in. And Rowan, being the absolute alpha male that he is, comes up to me and talks to me and comforts me. Like, not that I was like crying or anything, but like Rowan was like really friendly, and like I will always remember that day. And it's those kind of days that stick with people because, you know, when you start high school, and many of you may be watching, maybe starting high school, may already be well into high school, but it's a very nerve-wracking thing. And it's always really nice to make good friends, to feel comforted.
That's it, 100%. And I also do remember that, Pat. So don't worry, you're not alone in that department. I do remember that. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like high school can be a very difficult place, especially when people are starting out. So, I mean, we were already all there for a year. So I started in year 7, which is the first year we start high school. And so Pat came a year later. And so obviously I've been through the challenges of, I've been to 3 different schools. So I've been through the challenges of changing schools 3 different times. And that was all throughout primary school as well.
Yeah.
So I've had to learn how to make new friends, and I've been in a new situation, and it sucks when you go to a new school and everyone's already friends. But I mean, it's
a new challenge, and you like, I've found that by moving schools a lot, I've been better at making friends.
100%.
Just because I'm like more used to putting myself out there, you know?
Yeah.
And you're not going to become friends with anybody unless if you put yourself out there. And that's the hard part, you know, because a lot of people who are really shy will move schools and it'll take them a while to settle in. So if anybody's like joining a high school in like year 8 or year 9 or even in primary school, I understand it's totally difficult, but it's always good to have people like Rowan out there. He's going to be there to comfort. Big man.
Yeah, be there to comfort you. I'll have my arms wide open. No, but like it's good because you'll be able to build resilience, build your character as well, build some tough skin. So I mean, if you guys are out there starting at a new school or even changing schools, it's going to be okay. You're going to find friends, trust me. I was super fat in primary school. We'll put a photo up on the YouTube.
Oh, big Rowan.
I was quite enlarged throughout primary school, but I still managed to find myself friends, and that was just from being positive and just going up to people and saying, "Hey, I'm new here. Do you want to be my friend?" kind of thing. So it'll be fine. You'll find your friends, and you'll settle in just nicely.
Exactly. This is our little high school experience segment. So
that's it.
We thought we'd recollect on you and kind of so you guys can, the viewers, get in touch more of us with people, and we can talk to you about our experience through high school, because it's such a big, important segment of our life. And we want to let you know how it shaped us as people and how it shaped the people who we have on into what they want to become in the future. Obviously, they're all at uni and they're going on with their own lives now, and we want to catch up and we want to talk to them about how high school changed the person that they are today. So as Rowan and I said, we absolutely loved our high school, so it's not doom and gloom here. But yeah, we'll crack on. And
we will.
Do you want to get our first guest on?
I think that would be very appropriate. So, guys, we hope you enjoy this episode. And yeah, let's bring on our first guest, Vincent. Let's go. That's right, guys. And the first guest we have on today is Vincent Salvato, one of our best mates and bros throughout the whole of high school. And we're so lucky to have him on today. How you doing, Vinny?
Good. How are you boys going on this beautiful morning?
Bro, we are up early, but you literally look as prepared as we are. Look at the setup. We're like all matching. Do you want to join? Do you want to join the podcast, bro?
I have said before, I am the unofficial third member of this podcast.
Oh, bro. Let's wind back the clock, okay? Let's go back to year 7 when you first started high school. Look at where you are now. Started at first year of uni. How does your life kind of compare to back then? Like, how was the start of your high school experience?
Well, for me, I came from a primary school where like not as many kids from the primary school came to the high school, which was like a kind of a common thing where we are. There's a lot of like feeder schools from our primary school, so a lot of kids went to the same school. I only like a handful of kids, like maybe like 5 of us, compared to like 10 to 15 kids going to one school. For me, I didn't really have a lot of my closer friends move over to high school. So like staying in touch with those people from primary school wasn't like I don't know how to explain it, but like I wasn't as close with them at primary school. So when we got to high school, it was like we all pretty much knew we had to make new mates.
Yeah, exactly. And was that hard initially?
Initially, no, because like we still like we were there for each other anyway. But like being close mates, like I didn't have classes with a lot of my primary school people, so I had to make new mates. For example, Rowan was in a lot of my year 7 classes.
That's it.
So
go back.
Yeah, it's the people you meet then and there that is the people that you're going to stay with, or the people you want to stay away from.
Yeah.
You notice that instantly, and you notice the groups that form instantly, and you're like, got to stay away from them. I'll stick with these guys. They seem good. You know, you got to.
Year 7's like that. I've noticed, like at the start of high school, the groups are very kind of like disconnected. Like you've got this group over here and this group over here. Yeah. Whereas like if we compared that to when we were in year 12, the whole group is so tight. Like exactly. we'll get there eventually, but like we were all friends with each other, and that's what made our school so beautiful because everybody just got along. There was no hatred between groups. There was no hatred between people. It was just everybody was friends. Everyone would get along, and that's what made it good. But I get what you're saying. Like at the start of high school, like you kind of have to be careful, because I remember when I started high school, like it was different because I had like friends with 2 different groups, and then like at the end I kind of had to like sacrifice one group just to be friends with another group, because that's just how it worked. Like when you're in like, I don't know, practically up to year 12, to be honest.
Well, for me, it's crazy for me. I'm every year of high school, apart from like year 11 and 12, so like 7 to 10 pretty much, I had like a different, like, not group of friends, but I would have called different people my friends throughout, like friends that I made and friends that were introduced into us as a group, or into just me knowing them as well.
Yeah, because I think we talked about on like a podcast or 2 before, where we were talking about how like different people like kind of change their personalities, or kind of change who they are depending on each group. Do you reckon you kind of had that experience where you're saying you were changing different friends in different year groups with different classes and stuff?
Well, everyone's gonna say it, like I'll say it, like I've always been me. Yeah. But I think the other people around me, like I've seen them change a bit more, because like I had a friend in year 7, like straight off the bat, like a new friend, like someone I didn't know, and then that really didn't last long because they didn't want to, like they literally told me like I'm not feeling this, and like I'm in year 7. I'm like,
really?
the fuck?
Yeah. How can you feel that already?
yeah, but that kid ended up fucking off anyway, so he wasn't even there at the end of year 12, so fuck that guy.
And nobody's gonna know who it is.
Yeah,
and nobody's gonna know who it is. Exactly.
No name links
And
here.
then
boys.
you have the people that like straight from the start. Like for example, Rowan, and like I knew him and he knew me, and we were like good enough friends to be in class and be on the playground, but not as close first off the bat. And it's those people that you have those small connections with that you build through 7 to 12
yeah.
that you remain tight with because of the way you knew each other from the start, my day ones, people say.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember like Vinny and I, we had our year 7 drama class together, and like
I never
remember
got to do
vividly,
drama
like,
class, bro. Never.
Yeah, you came in year 8, bro,
I know.
that's why. No,
Oh,
but I remember like vividly, and I still will, like every class. It's just like you said, it's just the little things that matter, like in developing the friendship, from 7 to 12. But every drama class, Vinny and I, we'd gather a little circle of people in our drama class, and I would start beatboxing, and then Vinny would start singing Fetty Wap. So 679 or Trap Queen. So I would be beatboxing. Everyone's like, hey, 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 before the teacher came to class. But I mean, it's just those little things that you kind of look back. It's like, damn, that was fun, you know? So,
It really was. We really had no worries in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, but like, no, it's crazy to think how many like responsibilities and how like differently and drastically it is from year 7 going into like year 9 and then year 12. It's like
100%. It's like, the people say like, oh, don't try until year 12. Like,
Yeah, literally.
So what would you say would be like one of your like favorite or like all-time classes, would you say, at Rose?
Rowan, all-time classes, mate. PHP, bro. The year 11, year 12 PHP class. We had 3 different teachers throughout 2 years. It was the most like, I guess we were supposed to be stressed, but we were having the most fun, so it didn't really matter. Like, best group
I'm
of
always
people,
jealous of
I
that
gotta
class.
say.
I'm always so jealous of that
that's it.
class, man.
Everyone wishes they were in that class. Everyone did PE, like, seemed like the other 2 classes literally seemed so depressed. Like,
Yeah.
and then our class was like, people were literally showing up to our class to say hi because they were sick of their class.
Yeah, no, they would do that all the time. But like
Yeah.
when, like obviously, like each year you weren't in class with all of your same friends. How did you kind of like, I don't know, because like you always see like the class with all your friends. That like, oh, I wish I was in that class. Like, what would you think to be like? Oh, like I'm in a class with not many people I know, not like people that I'm friends with. Like, what's your attitude going into those new classes when you were going through the years?
Well, starting in year 7, I always like looking for someone who was in my house group, maybe, because they're the people that you'd see more often, morning and afternoon with us. So if I saw someone like that, obviously I'd know them a bit more, and then from then on, kind of branch out to other people that maybe they know in the class from other classes, or at least year 7 from previous schools or whatnot.
Yeah.
But when it comes to making friends like yourself, when there's like nobody in the class, that was kind of hard for me at first. But then you kind of, as a collective, classes come up with themselves as their own own being sort of thing.
Yeah,
like
it's almost like
the teacher counts, everything.
Yeah, it's almost like internal, like when we're talking about how like everyone splits off into the friendship groups outside. Like when you go inside the class, everyone turns into their own little friendship groups, and like the girls will sit on the second row from the front, and then the cool guys will sit at the back.
It was that structure.
No, seriously, like it's structured like that. Like it's almost like it's in our nature just to branch off and form into our own kind of thing.
But
really.
surely, Vincent, though, like surely you had a class that like you knew nobody initially. You were friends with nobody, but like you came out of that class at the end of the year, like really good friends with somebody. Because I know I had like classes like that, or like a class brought you closer to like somebody.
Yeah, I'd say my year 8 classes also tied there with that year 12 PE class.
Yeah.
People who were in that year 8 class, like I think it was like a certain amount of class had the same people, like art and music, like
Yeah.
Those classes
You'd have the same
people in all of them.
Yeah, it's like maybe for people
also
who like
was,
overseas, like when like classes like you're talking about, it's like you're put in one line, so you'd have like 3 classes with the same group.
Exactly. So that line of classes, there was a lot of people that I didn't know, and one person that I did really know from year 7. So I knew him, but like it wasn't going to be just us 2 because it was such a big class to get to know people, and people that I didn't even know that well was the class where you started to like, you knew who people were because at that point at school, like you start to know names and faces, and that when you start to put the name to the face and actually get to know them, that was a class where I found a lot of like friends that I still have to this day.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would you say might be like, was there like a definitive moment where you were like this is like my like solid group of friends, like during your high school career, whether that be like in year like 11 to 12 or whether that be like in year 10, like was there like a moment where you were like these are my boys, like my ride or dies kind of thing?
For me, I've had that with like every group of people I've had around me because you know I have like a thing where I want to feel a sense of like at least friendship because
You
if
can't
don't
you
have
can't
that-
be friends with somebody unless if like, you actually really want to be friends with them for like forever. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? It's like being in a
Exactly.
relationship. You can't be in a relationship be half-assed. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah.
exactly.
So I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, but I'd say mid-year 8 to year 9, I had like a solid group of people who didn't really change as much, but like that in that saying, they're my boys, like my people. Then literally year 10, that like didn't completely change, but the people that were coming in and new people that were not introduced, but just at least I was getting to know a bit better. I liked being around them, and that's when groups, you know, were starting to come together, different
Yeah.
groups, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I want to ask you this question because I feel like it's important. Rowan and I like briefly discussed it. I think it was like last episode or whatever. Is there like one thing that you kind of regret? Because like for me, it was not taking advantage of the opportunities that the school gave me. And I know that sounds so generic, but like, bro, I wish I went on an exchange trip or something like that. Cause I never did any of that sort of stuff. Yeah, I did like rep sport and stuff like that. But I really wish that I went away on an exchange trip or something. Is there like anything that you wish that you did that you didn't?
Well, firstly, I don't know how you pissed in the cinema and didn't tell anyone.
But it was Black Panther, so nobody knew.
Black Panther, that was recent. What are you on about?
Black
You mean
Pants,
Frozen?
not Black Panther.
Oh, Black Pants.
Oh, I was like, that's last year, bro. What are
I
you
was
doing?
I was
bro,
still
that
like
was-
12, so yeah, it was.
Anyway. I don't have any regrets like that. I don't know what you're on about, but when it comes to that part of my life, the schooling life, I'm 100% with you on that, Pat. Like the opportunities that the school gave that we didn't really like reach out and grab, and you know, the get on the bus, you know, like I didn't get on the bus as much as I wanted or much as I should have during the time. I don't think I did any rep sport apart from rep dance. We can get into that later, but I didn't like. I loved my soccer. I loved how people were just playing random sports to play a rep sport, and it was fun. Like, there wasn't the volleyball team like the most like stupidest group of people just having the best time because it was just like people just wanting to play. Like, I wish I did those little things.
Well, I mean, like, that's kind of one of the things, like, I can't stress enough. And it's kind of funny because we've all had the same experience. When you're in high school, it feels like the shittest and the slowest thing. Like you're never going to get through a year. But now that we graduated last year, looking back, it was the fastest thing that I think I've ever been through time-wise. You know, like I look back and I'm like, shit. Like, I remember a memory vividly from year 7, and now I'm 19, almost a year after we've graduated, and everyone's at uni. You know, it's so strange. So I'm like what Pat and Vinny is saying, that they should have done more at high school. Guys, if you're listening in high school, do it. Just do more at high school. Join that rep sport team, you know, join the musical, join any class you want, go on an exchange, you know, like do that stuff, because trust me, you will regret it if you don't, and these guys can vouch for it.
Yeah, like you'd be so surprised. Like when you come out and come into the real world, everything changes. Everything changes. And when you're at school, like, I mean, it's an amazing time. Like, you know everybody, you've been there for like so long, and you have to immerse yourself, because now looking back at it, yeah, I regret it so much. And time is continuing to fly by so much. Like we're looking at last year, the year behind us. They're already like coming to the end of their year 12. And to think that it felt like yesterday where we were still in year 12 is such a weird thing to think about. So yes, take advantage of every opportunity.
And I mean, that's the thing, like in high school, we were the massive fish in the small pond, you know, so we knew everyone, we knew every nook and cranny of the school, we knew where, you know, secret hookups happened, we knew where like people would go off and do like, no, seriously, like we knew everybody, we knew all the teachers knew our past, our history. what we're like in class and stuff like that. And then when you go into the real world, you're the tiniest little fish in this huge ocean, and it's so drastically different. But yeah, I mean, Pat and I can't stress enough. Vinny, what about you, man?
Like literally, like you're so on point with this. You guys are so good at this stuff. Uh, yeah, at school, it's just the amount of opportunities that are given that aren't taken as much, and that are also stressed by the people who are trying to give you the opportunities. I cannot stress enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you always sit there, and we always sat there like, this is so boring. Why are we listening to this? Why should we, why should we do this? It's non-compulsory. We don't have to.
Yeah.
And then, boom, like you don't do it, and it's like I should have done it.
Yeah, 100%. I
It's
mean,
that instant feeling.
yeah, and I mean, it's funny because we've all been there where the teacher's just like, you don't want to listen to the teacher. You feel like they're wrong. They don't know anything kind of thing. And then, like, I've definitely looked back in this past year and be like, damn, like, that teacher was right. Like, the real world is, like, so different. And for you guys, like, uni is so different to school. Like, it's, like, nothing like school.
Yeah.
Uni.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
Definitely a very self-paced thing. And I guess in today's age, even more self-paced because of how, it's run online. Despite me, like I went in a lot last semester, but this semester coming up soon, literally 2 days, far out.
Wow.
It's like 90% online, and I am going in once a week, and I don't know if it's going to be safe or not. Like I'm worried, but I'm doing it for myself,
With that
Yeah,
being
for
said,
sure.
has uni been underwhelming so far?
The workload for my course has been underwhelming. And by that, I mean, like, it hasn't been so intense. So from other people like here, like they're under the bus, like they're like so not on top of their work. They're like
Yeah.
lectures and lectures behind. And I'm here like, guys, if you just like I had that school mentality, like I'm just going to do it. Like I'm going to get stuff done when I can. And I'm still, getting stuff like, I explain it like at least my assessments were only like the only take home stuff. I had no like exams.
Yeah.
That was
That's a big
that was
help.
easy for me.
Yeah.
And then it's a course that I liked. Like I like what I'm doing. It's not. Some people
You
they
don't see
think
it
they
as
like
like a
what they're
chore.
doing.
You're just
I don't see it as a
and that's the
chore.
most
Like,
important
literally,
thing. Yeah, because like we're talking to people, and obviously people we're friends with in our friend group. They don't really enjoy what they're doing, and that's why like I had to ask myself when I defer to uni, because I'm like, is this what I really want to be doing? Because do I want to be spending my time doing a shitload of work, because my course did require a shitload of work, and not enjoy it, or do something, put myself there, like work, you know what I mean? Gain experience and then really know what I want to do. But if you're like really set on what you're doing and you're enjoying it, then that's like 100% the most important thing.
And what course are you doing as well for the people who don't know yet?
Yeah.
So my course is media communications, and my major is screen practice and production. So I guess I'm studying film.
Okay. And
That's
what's like the goal? Like, because I know some people study at uni but have a completely different goal to what they're studying. Like, what would you might say be your like goal in the future, whether that be journalism or film or even doing something completely different?
Goal in general is to be somewhere in the industry, and that could be at a low point or a high point, like coming out of uni or TAFE or anything, even starting with no tertiary education. You can start at a job that quite low down at the job and work your way up. I always think of it like, you guys seen Monsters Inc?
Yeah.
Monsters University.
Monsters
sorry. At the end of
University.
they become the mailman, and then they end up becoming scarers because that's what they want to be.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like you work your way up to the upper ladder, and I'm happy to do that, and I'm happy to start wherever. But I'm kind of set on industry, but I don't really care where at this time.
Okay. Yeah, sweet. I mean, like it's good to hear that from a uni student, because myself, I didn't do the greatest in my HSE. But that, like, if year 12s are listening to this, don't let that discourage if you don't do well in your HSE. So after my HSE, we had our schoolies and everything like that. But then I just got straight into the workforce, and like there is work out there. And like Vinny said, like you can work your way up in the workforce, but take those characteristics from school, like your hard work, your work ethic, being a reliable person. Because for my new job that I'm doing, I didn't really have any qualifications, but I went in with a good attitude, and a positive mindset. and then I've just been growing in the business since, and just show that hard work. And like I said, you don't need your ATAR to be successful in life or to do all these amazing things, and doesn't define you as a person. I mean, I'm like, I love this podcast, and I'm getting so much perspective from all these different people. I'm trying something new. It still means I'm smart. I'm not dumb. The ATAR didn't define me as being dumb, even though my parents might think that, but that's okay. But no, yeah, guys, like, don't give up. Like, it's all good.
I guess what we're trying to say essentially is like, don't rush into anything as well. If once you finish school, would you agree, Vincent? Like, when you finish school, people don't have to go to uni in their first year. Like, you could get an amazing ATAR, but if you really don't know what you want to do, there's no point studying medical science just because, that requires a 99 ATAR. Like, I did pretty good in my HSC, but I'm working on a work site. You know what I mean? And there's nothing against that, but there's a stereotype attached to that if you work on a job site, you're not smart or whatever, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it at the moment. And that's the most important thing I think to take away is, you don't have to be the sheep to follow the crowd, because often that's not the best way. But if you have your heart set on something like Vincent does, by all means, go take the reins.
But with that as well, it's kind of a lot of it. There's like a massive stereotype for like people dropping out of year 10 to start doing trade or carpentry or stuff, like they're seen as like not smart. But like, if you really think about it, they're dropping out of school, they're having one day at TAFE, they're getting paid to learn, and they're getting a completely new skill. So when you guys are first or second year in uni, they're full-time workers getting a full salary with their job, so like it's pretty smart if you really think about it. But
thanks.
100%. Exactly right.
Vincent, if I was to go back to you being in high school, what's the advice that you would give yourself, being the person that you are now, let's say going into your final year of schooling? Would you change anything?
My final year, or just like
let's try two different ones, because let's go year 12 and let's go year 7 as well, because there's a big difference, obviously.
Final year, I would 100% say, like, relax, because you don't understand the amount of time that we had, like, not off, but the time we had to regather everything that we had learned from the previous year forward is the most, like, time you're supposed to spend. Like, you're supposed to zen, you're supposed to have like a moment where you need to get all the knowledge you need, or you need to recollect, go through, revise, but you also have, like, you have that time off. The other years are all still at school, but you can set your day like a school day, but you can also set your day as whatever you want. You can make your own schedule and study what you want when you need to, but you don't have to stress. So just if you relax, you'll understand it more. You pump yourself out. Like, before those trials, that time we had off, what was it, like a month or something off? For trials. And then we sit those, and then literally once you sit those, the experience of high school just went up. Like, those last 3-4 weeks of school was the best. And then you said, in general, when it comes to high school in general, what I would have told myself literally at any fucking year, at the start of any year, like, I would have said, like, chase marks, not girls. And that would have, not that I'm saying I did bad, but like in my final year, but like to think that marks are
loyal.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
No, that's it.
But,
I mean, like,
go on.
Go, Pat.
Nah, I'll let you speak, mate. Go ahead.
Cheers, bro. Yeah. I mean, like, and also with the opportunities as well that you said you would rather go back and kind of chase. I feel like that would also be an important piece of advice for everyone who's watching as well. Like,
I want to stress that enough.
Yeah, for sure. I want to like kind of segue to something funny. Surely there's like a moment in high school. It doesn't even have to be to do with you. Like, there's so many, and I know, like, without other guests, we have to discuss them. But surely there's something that is just like Fuck,
wanna,
this
like,
was
go
so
through, like,
funny.
I can just you can
Be
list
here
them
for
right
an
now.
We could do a top 100
Literally.
list. We could, but like I what
Top,
is
bro, top 200.
I genuinely,
Like,
genuinely, what's like something that was just so funny? It was just an
Out of the
iconic
year.
moment.
That like.
Are we allowed to
calendar-
say that word?
Hopefully not.
I'll
Idiot
probably
of the year.
bleep it out.
Okay,
Idiot of the
okay.
year. Idiot of the year.
Yeah, idiot of the year. We've got like, I've spoken to one of the other guests that are going on. They're telling some story about how like it was so stupid and like probably the most trouble we'd ever gotten into. But like,
I reckon, like, if you don't mind me butting in, I reckon.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'll just mention it, but I think you might be able to talk about it more.
no,
Is our no, not quite. So all the year 12 boys.
actually, I'll
during
take it away.
lockdown. Yeah, you go.
I'll take it away.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
take it
take it
away.
away.
I wanted
This
to bring
is
this up
iconic.
because
Okay.
I do want to say this. Like, yes, it was a group conglomerate thing, but I had the initial idea.
Yeah.
Let me just So after we had our big lockdown last year, so 2020, we came out of it freaking good here in NSWA. Like,
Yeah.
compared to now, we came out very well. We had 2 weeks back at school, but it was just year 12, and they changed our timetable to where recess was 45 minutes
Yeah.
and lunch was an hour. And that was crazy to us because recess before was 20 minutes. And by the time you got everything ready, you had like 5 minutes and that was it. Like, you had to go back.
Literally, yeah.
And lunch was 40 minutes. So to then get an extra 20 minutes on that, and then 5 minutes between each period, that was the best time ever.
Yeah.
And we have this green at school, and we always would hop on. We'd always play soccer. Like all, at least, like our group of friends would usually play a bit more with the other group of boys, but not this middle group of boys, the Aussies, if we want to say. So I guess when we did play, sometimes we'd play. You know, it's an Aussie thing, I guess, Aussie cultural thing, wogs and Aussies kind of thing.
That's it, yeah.
That we'd always do. And then as more boys started to play, because we had that hour of lunch where we just literally like go ape. That's the only way we can
And
describe
we were
it.
the only kids in the school as well, bear in mind.
Yeah.
We
Only
were
kids
the
in the
only
school.
year, because the way how it worked is that year 12 went back first because we're the most important year, obviously, right? And then year 11. So we had, was it the first week or two just to ourselves with the 40-minute recess, hour lunch?
I think it was the first week was just us, but the second week they had year 11, I want to say.
Yeah.
We had that, and the whole school wasn't going to sit out and spread and like sit at every part of the school because there was only one year group. So everyone like kind of sat near the green anyway. But yeah, we started playing soccer, and because the other boys started playing, we just switched it. We realized that they had, it wasn't just wogs and Aussies. We had, a couple Indians, couple Asian guys. So it was whites versus ethnics. So that got discussed a bit to change the name to that when we played. I was on the ethnics team. You can obviously see how these guys are on the white team in front of me.
What are you on about, man? Nah, yeah.
And then
It turned into like a religion at the school.
literally.
It was a
We wanted
a
to get out of
massive thing.
class to play. Like, I know that people say that. That's like a big primary school thing. Like, oh, I can't wait to play. You don't understand how serious we took
The
this.
teachers loved
Like,
it. The teachers loved it,
We
bro.
would take a ball to class, like double indus. If you talk any boys in that class, we have double industrial and then lunch. We would take the ball to class, and then like we would all leave industrial early because like it was literally all the boys, and we'd all like set up and wait for people.
That's right. I mean, like, it was.
And then-
it's so funny because just our year 12 boys in the group, the whites and the ethnics, it's so funny how it turned into like a literal religion for the school, and everyone would watch at lunchtime and everyone would watch at recess.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It became that early on, and then towards the end of it,
Oh, here we go.
I was like, every time when we were there alone, I was like, guys, we should play long ways because we had the green like split in half, like juniors on one side, seniors on the other, and we always had to play on the thin pitch. We were like, guys, let's put it long ways, and we tried it a few times, and we'd get like told off for it. So once after period 4, it was about to be lunch. Like we had all discussed, we're like, guys, these next 3 days we're playing a 3-leg series,
Yep.
like the best of the 3 titles, like who's gonna win it.
Yeah.
And I left class early. Like I pulled up to my house coordinator, like, oh look, I'm setting up for soccer. It's like a little thing we're doing. He was the most chill guy, so he didn't care. He was like, yeah, go do it. So we opened the not the fence, but like the
curtain.
ropes, the curtains. We opened the curtains. We extend the whole thing. we put the goals on either side, and people start coming in for lunchtime, but we're all already there, and they start playing. We're like, get off! We're playing a big game.
That's it.
So we play this game of like the crowd atmosphere. It was like we're at Wembley, bro. Like it was like
people do not understand. Okay, so
don't.
just for context, we won the first game, I believe.
So
You won the
Vincent
second
won the first
game,
game.
so it went to the third game. I kid you not, half the whole school was watching. Half the school.
90%.
90%.
That last game.
And we'll tell you why as
Teachers
well.
included.
Literally,
Yeah.
so every it was kind of like a thing was going around the school. Oh, like it's the third game. It's like the Euro final of Rose Bay College, and so we took it really seriously. So everyone on like the whites would wear their like England jerseys and soccer jerseys, and then everyone on ethnics had their like Uruguayan or Italian or Spanish or Portuguese jerseys.
Yeah.
And then one of our friends brought in a World Cup trophy.
That was me. That was my
Yeah,
trophy.
No, that was
Yeah.
Vincent, Vincent brought in the World Cup trophy, and it was
the
whoever
big-
won the third game would win this World Cup trophy.
And don't forget,
And
you brought in your massive fuck off speaker where we
I
did.
had this-
We came out at the start. Yeah.
when we held it up and we all
Champions
lined
League
up.
song.
Yeah, so it was like literally like a walk-in for like the FIFA where they both teams line up and they both walk onto the pitch.
Shake hands.
And we had this massive boom box, shake hands, and then it was kick off with 1,300 people watching, teachers and students included.
Yeah.
We'll put a photo of what it looked like and all the boys up there as well.
Yeah, for
for you
sure.
guys to peep at.
We'll
but
put stuff
I
up there.
agree.
The best thing about it is that after it, the year 11s were off that week because they had their prelims. And like, if anyone knows, we hated that year group. You guys graduating this year, most of you we don't like. There's good ones, but most of you we don't like.
Yeah.
They had their prelims on, so they were like doing exams. So apparently our third game that we played that had like literally the school cheering, teachers watching, people screaming,
Oh, that's right.
was their maths prelim. Their final maths year 11 exam.
So they can hear all this
they could
massive
hear all
crowd
of it. They're like,
noise.
what is happening?
Yeah.
And we had no clue. So like we
Yeah.
felt good about it after, but like we had no
that's
clue.
it.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
And
100%.
like straight after the game as well, as soon as like the bell went, like we took ages to get back to class. Teachers were like, yeah, no, we'll see you in a bit. Like we know you guys got to celebrate your win, get your photos. And I just remember like the dean of the year, I'd walked over to one of our mates and goes like you can't do this anymore. Like this is the last time you can do it. And we were like, fine. Like we played 3 games. Like
That's
we
it.
we
That's
literally
all we
timed
wanted.
it so perfectly.
Yeah.
That's it, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like for all the boys and even the girls in that year, like that's something that we'll all remember. Is
100%.
like that one special and that 3 series soccer game.
So
that we all
let's
played.
show the
It's
photo. Who
amazing.
actually won the final game? Who wants to do the reveal?
If Vinny can, the guest.
So the first game was an Aussie win, I think by a margin, like 2-3-0 or something, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jude
We
went
got
off.
smacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jude did go off. Second game, 0-0 the entire fucking lunch.
Yeah.
Until like the last like minute, like 2 minutes. One of my mates, like, is a basketball player, scored the freaking
Mullet.
final
That was
goal.
the
And we were-
weirdest
We
thing.
were all like, yeah.
Yeah.
We were all cheering so much.
Yeah.
So that's drawn. Then the final game was an ethnic win.
Unfortunately.
I'm pretty sure it was also by a margin as well.
It was
Somewhere
2-0, I
like-
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll never forget Ollie's goal that he scored from about halfway.
Oh my
Right.
Do you remember
I still
that?
don't get like people that tall that can like freaking get their feet that high and that accurate. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
it.
crazy. But we
I-
will always look back at that experience as one of the greatest experiences in high school. 100%.
100%.
100%, man. And like before we finish, Vinny, I want to ask like one more question because I don't think people know, but Vinny's actually a dancer. He's a break dancer. He's insane. He does backflips. He does all that stuff. You don't have to do one.
You would have seen if you guys watched the
We can-
Sunday League series on my channel. Vincent,
Yeah,
you whipped out the
literally.
backflip.
That's it. But
He
he
did
was,
whip it out.
Vinny was a break dancer throughout high school, and he was involved in like the musical and like all these dance classes. Like in Rosebank, I know that there were really no other male like dancers or people involved in that. So what was that kind of like for you, like being one of the only males involved in dance and the musicals and everything?
Oh, coming into year 7, I had been doing it for a good 2-3 years before then, but I didn't really like why would I want to show it off anyway? Like if need be, I would, until like dance became like compulsory and stuff. So I was like, guys, like I do dance and I'm showing people, and I didn't get a lot of stick for it or anything. People people appreciated it. No one really got angry, not angry, but like no one would make fun of me for it.
Yeah.
So I found that really calming about the people I was with. I just remember year 7 camp, Rowan. You remember when it was like dance night or something, and every house went on stage and danced. That was like the first time I whipped out the moves, and everyone was like, "Whoa, look at this dude go!" So that's how it kind of like started. So people like knew from there, but if there was talk through the grapevine, I didn't hear any bad of it.
Yeah.
So I never like stopped needing to, if need be, to show it. Like in classes in like PHP, we had a mandatory dance unit every year. Like, I'd go off, I'd show it. Why not? Like, because like
100%.
need be. But they didn't really actually accept the boys into the actual dance group at the school until I was in like year 11, year 12.
Damn.
So
That's weird.
it did take them a while to even do that. And I did our final musical, which was in year 11. That was really fun, like a great experience. Really good group of people.
For sure.
And it was more fun than anything because wasn't like, it's not a similar experience that other people have a lot of. At least with dance, people more accustomed to, your standard sports, not standard, but more popularized sports and whatnot. So I was happy that I was able to do something that I loved and people enjoyed to see, and no one really had to, people enjoyed seeing it and didn't want to
People appreciated
make
it.
fun of it, even
100%.
though, appreciated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. Like when you have a skill, if I could whip out a backflip, man, I would make the most of it. Time and place,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it. I mean, and I reckon before we finish, Vinny, we've asked to like the guests that we have had on, if there's one piece of advice that you would give to anyone who's watching, whether that be life advice or school advice or something through your
Or
experiences.
just to anybody in high school in general as well, since we were on that topic. But any
Like,
sort
what would
of
be that one
advice.
piece of like life advice that you would give to the people watching?
Generic, but take opportunities, obviously, what we said, and don't waste your life. And by that, I don't mean, your standard, make sure you go through life, you enjoy it, you don't regret stuff. That is what I mean by don't waste your life. You need to fail. You need to regret. You need to experience highs. You need to experience lows. But if you bring yourself down every time that happens, you're never going to achieve greatness from that. You can only achieve greatness from accepting a defeat.
Yeah, for sure.
That's some great advice. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Evan. It was so much fun.
Thanks for having me.
We had a blast having you on, and I'm sure everyone listening loved it as well. Comment down as well. Comment what you guys think. Feel free to message us, email us what you think about this kind of new segment, because I know Pat and I really enjoyed it.
We loved it. Good having you on,
Enjoyed it too.
Vincent.
Yeah,
Good having
thanks
you
so
on too.
much. All right, we'll get on to the next guest, guys. We'll see you shortly. Take care.
All right, guys, welcome to our second guest, Laura. Laura, how are you doing?
I am so good. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to the
Very welcome.
podcast.
That's it. So I mean, it's kind of been a bit of a journey for me and Laura, especially. We started year 7 together and went all the way through to year 12 in the same homeroom. But I mean, Laura, take us back to when you first kind of started in year 7, first started at Rosebank, and what that was like changing from like year 6 going into year 7.
Well, I was one of those kids. I feel like everyone kind of had this thing where they were like, what personality am I going to have? Like, I can just reinvent myself right now. And I remember walking in and everyone was sort of in the hall. And I was like, okay, this is where I decide. What kind of person am I going to be? And I walked in and I was like, I could be really shy right now like everyone else, or I can just like go say hey and sit with everyone, like all these people that I have no idea who they are. Of course, I went in with people from my primary school, so I knew everyone. But like the people that I was like heading towards, I think like in our colour house in Caulfield, I was like, who are these people?
Yeah.
So I just walked up to everyone and I was like, hey, I'm Laura. And kicked off from there. So
That's the way to
You'd
be.
say-
Put yourself out
You'd
there.
say, like you had like a very eccentric kind of go-get-em personality going into high school, would you say?
yeah, I guess so.
You're still nervous though, surely.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I would have been shaking.
100%. But like, would you say you were kind of a bit more confident going into high school because you knew a bunch of people first? Because when with Vincent, we were talking, he kind of came into high school, not many people from his primary school went in. So he was kind of a bit hesitant to kind of be eccentric and find new people. But like, what was kind of your experience?
Yeah, well, I had a bunch of people that came from my primary school, so if it didn't work and, no one liked me, I could have just gone back to my friends.
Just falling back onto them.
That's
Yes,
always
I
that's
guess
always
so.
the saving
Yeah.
grace. Yeah.
Oh,
Of course.
For sure.
100%.
For sure. Like when we talk about classes, do you have like a specific class that you remember at Rosebank that you're like, this was such a good class, or like a class where you didn't necessarily know anybody, but you came out of that class just like, oh my God, like all these people are my friends or something like that?
Yeah. So I always tried to be friends with everyone. So, anyone who would pass me by. But I think my year, the 9 and 10 class, I was always like together.
Yeah.
It was like PDHP, science.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We had like a line where it was like you had like 3 of these classes with the same people,
Yeah.
and then like there was
For
another
2
class.
years.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that class for sure came out with like these friends that you'd never think of being friends with. I love when like friends come from different groups and they're very different people
Yeah, for
because
sure.
you come from different, sort of groups, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like, they're all different and you're like, these people would never be friends, but classes
Yeah.
do that to you.
It's very true. And I mean, like, not a lot of people know who are listening to the podcast, but yourself, a dancer, a very good dancer, you love like all the artistic creative stuff. So
Vincent
like,
as well.
Vincent as well. But like when
Yeah.
would you say kind of like started like dancing properly and taking that into high school and taking your opportunities as they come with like the musical or dance productions and stuff?
Yeah, so I was dancing since I was 5, but I wasn't doing, the usual ballet and that. I was doing Latin dancing. Yeah, did that up
hip
until year 12.
Yeah, that's
Sure, hip stuff.
I'm not gonna try, bro. Generate my inner Shakira or some shit.
Yeah, you could do it,
Oh
easy.
no, not me. My hips do lie. Fuck.
It was really a hard training and sort of that sort of thing. So, there was auditions for dance in year 7. And I sort of had that same mindset. I was like, just go for it. And I was also really confident. So I was like, okay. And then dance was the best thing about high school, I think, for me. Yeah, because I mean, eventually I used that as an excuse for everything. Like, sorry, I got dance. I'd be walking in like everywhere, like eating. I'm like, sorry, dance.
I got dance.
And the dancers were really respected because we had Mr. Taylor, of course. So yeah, no, and also I think also in year was it year 8 we had to do the dance, and year 10 also in PDHPE.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
I really
remember
liked
that.
forcing everyone else to do dance as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really just kind of went to show like the dancers from the non-dancers, because I mean I danced in my PhD class. who got,
I
like, 30
remember
out of
that.
30
We
in
have.
that
I should get a
assessment.
video of me and Rowan doing it together in the same group. But I remember because it's really funny how like in PDHB how always like the guys would take over, but there was always that one term where we had dance and the girls would just take the reins, and it was so good to see because. I mean, they're so much better than us.
Yeah, but like that's fact. Like we got like 15 out of 20, the boys, and then the girls just be like 30 out of like 20 or 30 out of 30 or something. It was insane.
30 out of 20.
30 out of 30.
30 out of 30, not 30 out of 20.
Yeah.
You can tell it's early, can you?
So yeah, there was dance, and then the musical as well, which I had with Vincent, which is amazing. Sure, we have photos of that somewhere, but yeah, great experience. We had the camp for musical, and yeah, it was so much fun.
What was
And-
that musical experience like? Because I've never been in a production or anything like that involved with any theatrical kind of stuff. But yeah, like what was kind of like the production of the musical, like how like you guys choreograph a dance? Because I've seen you dance, and I've seen backstage like you tried to teach me a dance, and like you spent like an hour trying to teach me, and I learned like 10 seconds of the dance. Like how do you like remember and like comprehend that stuff?
I don't know. I've just been doing it for years. I guess also coming from a Latin background, which is where you kind of dance with yourself and a partner, and then having to go and learn choreo really quickly. I think Thursday, like co-curricular sport, obviously really helped me with that because I wasn't doing it outside of school. I was doing Latin, which was completely different. So just practice, I guess. And then I remember when you came in, and that was for HSC dance, actually.
HSC dance,
That was,
is it?
yeah, so we would be doing our dances in year 11 and 12. We'd be practicing in the dance rooms. And then Rowan would come up from basketball when he was finished, and then we'd like teach him a little bit of what we were doing.
And that was like for HSC dance, you genuinely had to like make your own dance, right?
Yeah, and okay, so dance, loved it. Teacher, like the girls loved it. But oh my god, I wouldn't have done it if I knew what I was in for.
Really?
Like,
Harder than you
I
expected?
feel like, well, definitely, because I think everyone would sort of have like an issue with the dance being a subject because they think it's easy or something. So I feel like they purposely made it extremely hard so that, you know, no one could have that misconception. And it was just so unnecessary, the amount of work and stress that we had to do. And then in the end, it scaled down because it's dance.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like that fun aspect of dance, but it's too much stress for what it is.
If you were to go back to like year 10 where you were choosing your subjects, would have you took dance or would have you chosen something else?
No, I would have done dance in year 9 and 10, like
Yeah.
instead of doing all the serious, like commerce. Like, why did I need commerce in year 9?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and then probably wouldn't have done it in year 11 and 12.
Yeah, because you also were doing a lot of hard subjects, right? I swear you were doing like law or something like that, were you not?
Yeah, I did.
Whatever it's called, legal studies. Why did I say law? Legal studies. Yeah. Yeah, that's not easy.
No.
Yeah,
So
how were you like as a student, like with your subjects, like Pat's talking about? Were you like bang, like super organized? Like I had did you have like all your highlighted notes, like the friggin' rainbow, and then like different books? Like, were you one of those students, or more like just kind of like a kickback student?
I'm still one of those students. Look, I prepared for today.
How do you prepare for a podcast?
This is what we mean. Well, not even we do this.
Yeah, no, I don't even do it. I literally have like my AirPods and like a tea next to me. Like,
You're crazy.
Yeah, no, I was definitely that student, always ready to go. Actually, I'm no bit of a procrastinator. I was definitely a perfectionist, so everything had to be perfect, which means I spent a lot of time doing things, and otherwise I wasn't doing them at all. So I kind of had like the mindset where I had to do really well in everything, otherwise there was no point. And also, but that changed over high school, like year 8, 9, like I feel like everyone sort of went through a stage where they didn't care almost.
yeah.
But yeah, but definitely 11, 10, 11, 12, maybe not year 10, but yeah, 11 and 12 I was definitely.
Do you feel like, because you were a perfectionist and still are, obviously, do you feel like trying to get like the absolute best you can for everything, do you reckon that kind of put expectations that the teachers would put on you? So it'd be like, so if you got like 28 out of 30, they'd expect you for the next 3 assessments to get those super high marks during like year 11 and 12?
Yeah, so much pressure, and I feel like for particular subjects where I was really close to the teacher, so for example like religion or business, where I felt like they expected a lot from me and I really didn't want to let them myself down. So yeah, I felt like I had a lot of pressure on me. I didn't, but yeah, that was really hard during trials. And I hate to say not that much. I was more prepared, but trials was really, really bad. I was really like stressed. And yeah, had a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I want to ask you this question, Laura, because like you mentioned that you're a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that helped you throughout high school, or was that detrimental? Because like obviously you're very smart, but was that like a burden on you in the end? Like, did that put so much stress on you to the point where you like almost burned out at a point?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I feel like other people weren't as stressed as me, and I was sort of really like, why? What's going on? Like, come on, let's get it going. I was also really motivated by the people around me. So everyone, I remember Lauren, she was like, redoing her entire house during the middle of HSC, and I'm like, I was sitting at my desk for 9 hours a day. But I don't think it was detrimental. I think that because I'm still the same today. Yeah. So
it's always been like kind of who you are. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't found a different way of being, and it's paid off for me. I've definitely
Oh,
done
for
well
sure.
with. Yeah.
Oh no, 100%.
So what are you doing now, Laura?
Yeah.
I am at UTS. I'm studying business. And I just wanted to keep it simple. Usually I'd go and do some really extravagant course, but I'm not particularly sure what I'm doing yet. So
Okay.
I was like, I'll just do a business course
I mean,
and kill
For,
it.
for like going into uni and kind of like after school, like obviously you said like you still don't really know what you want to do. Do you want to have something in the business world, or do you have like another goal or another thing you want to do in your life that's completely different to what you're doing now?
I want to own my own businesses.
Okay.
Multiple.
Awesome.
And yeah, I feel like I'd go into some sort of firm at the start just to get
Some
on my feet.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. And then go out on my own. That's the goal.
Do you regret like going into uni straight away and like being like, oh, I'm gonna do this? I'm not 100% sure, but or are you glad that like you're doing the course that you're doing now?
No, I'm definitely glad. I was never stressed about not knowing what I was going to do after school. I was always like, it'll work out.
Yeah.
Because if I thought about it too much and then
That's
my
the best
brain,
way.
it would
Wouldn't
stress
happen.
me out.
Oh, for sure. But
It
that's the
would
thing.
stress me
You
out.
can't exactly like know like this is what I 100% want to do for the rest of my life when you're like 18, 17 in your
Yeah.
instance, because you're younger, right? Like you're 18 now,
Yeah.
but like when you graduated, you would have been 17. Like how are you supposed to know what you want to be spending the rest of your life doing?
Yeah.
Nobody should be.
No way.
Yeah. So like it's good that you're at least doing something that
Yeah.
like you're enjoying, because I feel like a lot of people started uni and they haven't really enjoyed it so far. Yeah.
How would you say like has uni been drastically different to high school, would you say?
Yes, obviously, you're not confined to a school, you're not in uniform, that sort of thing. But otherwise, not really. I still put in the same amount of effort. I still have that same social aspect that I had at school. But obviously, I love school, so I just want to take everything from that and continue it. But uni's been really good. I think kind of what Pat was saying, people had heaps of expectations about the course that they were doing. If they did a really hard course to impress other people, and then now they're like, oh, why did I do that? Oh my god, my light just fell.
That's often the case though, right? That's
Yeah.
often the case. Like people will get like a 99 mark or whatever, and they'll just be like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Whereas like sometimes you don't have to live up to those expectations. Like we're watching another podcast and the guy got a 97 ATAR and he's becoming an electrician because that's where his passion lies. And if your passion lies in something, no matter what it is, well, go ahead, take the reins and do it. Laura, you're still getting your light there?
Sorry. Okay,
No, you're
okay.
good. You're good.
Yeah, no troubles. So
I tell you,
I think
everyone's being more professional than us. It's so funny.
Yeah,
like when we told Vincent he had like this full setup, and like so do you now as well. And everything's
it's
so
good,
clean
though.
and spick and span, and we're just kind of
It's
here,
good.
and everything's a bit cluttered. I love it.
I'm planning on being a constant member. This is my podcast.
Well, you've got the mic. That's the thing.
Yeah,
you got
she's
the setup.
I do.
He
Yeah.
does. So I mean, I think I heard you mention it before. Like you're saying, you would like love to take those opportunities. Do you feel like during high school you took as many opportunities as you would have liked, or would you like to take more, or didn't you take out on as many as you might have liked, or kind of thing?
So I would have liked to. I feel like it's kind of a regret, which is another question as well. But going to China, I really wanted to do that. That looked really fun.
Was
Learning
that
a different language.
Was that the science trip, or just like
No, the
No,
science
it's-
was that like no,
was that America?
I'm not sure.
I think that was China as well.
Oh, okay, right.
okay.
Yeah, I think they were both were, but I would have liked to have gone. I was, and then having another language under your belt, that would have been amazing for
100%.
like a resume.
Yeah. We were talking about this because I know Rowan went to America and I never went on an exchange trip, and I'm like sitting here like I really wish I did that because it would have been so fun and you would have learned so much. And like especially if you want to learn another language, the only way to really kind of like improve it is to immerse yourself in the culture, right? So
100%.
Yeah,
I would have loved to go to like Europe or or America as you did. Not that like that's learning another language, but at least you're like getting kind of.
Yeah, bro. I was learning American, bro.
Yeah. Look at you, mate. It looks like you never learn another language.
Yeah, born and raised English speaker. I've tried. Doesn't really. Je ne que ta mère.
Oh no, we're not going to translate that. We're not going to translate.
No.
Oh,
But also, Laura, you were in year 12. You ended up being the house captain for our house. What was kind of like that whole leadership experience like for you and trying to get the younger kids into swimming carnival, athletics carnival, and what was that whole like leadership experience like? for yourself?
So, I knew I was going to be house captain.
Bro, all the other Caulfield girls are going to be so mad.
From the day in year 7, I knew I was going to be house captain. That's what
Yeah, I did. I really did. So did the teachers.
Oh, big shots. I like it. I like it.
This is planned from ages ago.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. It wasn't. It was another excuse. It was another. I'm captain.
I've got to do
I'm
this.
house captain.
I've got to do this. Yeah.
I think something that I didn't realize would be really good about being captain was the like captain meetings at different schools. We sort of all met up.
That was fun.
And yeah, I'm still friends with heaps of the people that I met. It was a lot of fun. And also just being really motivating. I think in the senior years you can kind of like take the piss out of it a little bit, like the carnivals and that. Yeah, it was heaps more fun. You didn't have that pressure of having to do something you like wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess just motivating other people was super fun. Of course, I had Rowan as well. He was
Rowan
our
was on the leadership group.
environment captain.
Yes, let's go.
Rowan.
Yes.
It was looking like you were going to get school captain for a second there, Rowan, as well.
Yeah, but decided to have a change of tune and care for the environment, I guess.
It's important. It's important.
No, it is. It is very important. I mean, a lot of people don't understand how important it is, and we had this one absolute legend, immortal. I think there should be a statue of him going up instead of a horse. But shout out to Peter. Peter, he was this 85-year-old man.
He's still there, man. Yeah, I talk to him every Wednesday. He's awesome. Yeah, I love him.
That's it. So he would come into the school every single day, start super early at like 7:30 in the morning, stay till like 4:30 in the afternoon, and he'd just be there cleaning up the school, picking up rubbish. And I have so much I have so much respect for him because a lot of schools are just really dirty. Kids just littering and throwing their rubbish and not putting in the bins. And then you see a man like him going around happy, always saying hi to everyone, and you would never see him with a frown doing that. And so, I don't know, I just really wanted to help in that perspective and kind of like show people that like let's keep our school tidy, like for his sake and for our sake as well, I guess.
Yeah, Rowan took something so boring, like the captain, the leadership that no one wanted to get. Everyone was like,
Seriously.
no. Like everyone went in there being like, I'll get anything except for environment. Everyone was like, I'll take environment.
That's the thing, because I remember me and one of my best mates, Christian Ryan. Shout out Christian. We would for the assemblies and stuff we do at school. Everyone would be like, "Oh, here's another environment captain meeting." They talk about the environment and that kind of stuff. But no, we made it funny. We made it engaging. So every time there was an assembly, people were like, "Damn, I want to hear what puns they're gonna bring out." You know, and
they brought up a few. I won't say good ones, but. They did bring them out.
That's it. No, so I mean, yeah, we turned it into something which I think is positive and that people wanted to hear and wanted to be involved in. So I mean, it's super awesome.
Class.
That was it.
Class. I like that. I like that plant behind you, bro. It's really like fitting.
Yeah, those ones.
Was that flowers?
They're environment friendly, so they're actually made of plastic, so they'll never die. They're just they're literally a showpiece in the house. They've been there for about 10 years. Like they just haven't died. But no, yeah, I know. I thought I'd whip it out. I'd whip it out, I guess.
Beautiful, bro.
That's it. So Laura, are there any things looking back at high school that you say hilarious moments, serious moments, any moments that like are so memorable for yourself?
Oh my god, I've got a few.
Oh, here we go.
But I was no Marcus.
And we have Marcus on next. We're saving the best to last.
I was no troublemaker. I wasn't, I was like, what stories am I going to tell? Like, I wasn't that bad of a kid. I guess I kind of just looked and laughed at other people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess something that came to mind before the story with Vincent, who you just had. Me and Vincent were, sorry, Vincent and I were
That's the
go.
grammar.
best-
There we go.
we're best friends in school, and in year 8 we had to do, it was a dance sort of thing, and this is like the only time I got in like trouble.
Yeah.
And there was this other team, and we were, like shit talking them. We're like, hey, we're gonna beat you in this year 8 dance
Dance off.
assignment.
Assignment.
We're gonna have a dance off. And then I'm not sure, one of the other team members dropped their earring or something, and Vincent picks it up and yeets it like outside of the school for some reason. I don't know why. He just decided that he'd pick it up. Just throw
Onto
it across.
Parramatta Road.
Jesus. Vincent was
I
on
don't know why that
smoke
was just-
today. Oh my god.
It was like intrusive thoughts, but just real life. And we all got in trouble for that. And I was obviously like this scared little yay. And I was going to Miss Clark's office for something that Vincent had done. And
my
obviously
God.
those little things that didn't matter, like year 12, you'd have been like, okay, lol. But,
Yeah.
those little, I don't know, I was really nervous.
Yeah.
So that was a cute little story. I just,
That's nice.
that.
You were a
that
bit of a
image
goody
of
two shoes.
Vincent. Oh, absolutely. And then, I guess I was. Rowan named me PM for 3 years
that's it.
straight.
Wait, so what does that stand for?
Am I saying it or do you want to say it?
You can say you came up with
What's so bad about it?
It was in year 7. We had so obviously Laura and I met in year 7. I also had another nickname for Laura. Her name was Bucky. We'll have a photo up here.
Oh,
as
before the
well.
braces.
Yeah, so before the braces, you could. I mean, it was kind of like when you played golf. There was this massive hole. It was like that. Her teeth were kind of like on the side, so you like put it through. When she got braces, I was calling her cheese grater, train track. So there's been a plethora of names over the years. But going back to the first nickname was PM. So in year 7 at Rosebank, we had this thing called Character Day. Whereas you would dress up as your favorite character from a book or movie or game. And Laura and one of her best friends dressed up as Mario and Luigi. And it was funny because it wasn't no regular Mario and Luigi. It was, how would you say, like Marius and Luigi. It was like the girl version of those where it
Bro,
was
that sounds like
shorts.
the multiple version. Like I've got multiple Luigi here.
It was like short skirts, the hat over the eye. They had like all this like red lipstick on for Laura, and they had like these chains and this like short little top. And so I started.
How does this
calling
link
her-
this to PM?
So PM, after Character Day, I was like, not gonna lie, that looked like a porno Mario. And so,
Rowan, you in year 7, bro.
and so it kind of stuck. So I called her about a PM for about 3-4 years after
I
that.
didn't hear my name. I didn't hear my own name for 3 years.
That's it. So
Rowan.
PM, train tracks, Bucky, cheese grater. There was so many, but yeah, that was a little funny one, I guess.
Oh, Laura has dispersed.
Oh, funny.
It's alright.
Oh,
it's
you're
alright.
back.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
back. She's back. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Oh,
Leaning over
my
here helps.
God. And Laura, to finish off, if you could give any advice to any kid in high school or anybody at the moment, or even just you, if you were in high school, what would you say? What would you say?
I guess whatever stage you're in, there's different advice to give.
Of course.
I reckon we break
think-
it down. Well, let's break it down. What would you give advice to someone in year 12? What would you give advice to someone in year 7? And then at the end, what like life advice would you give to like everyone watching?
Yeah.
That's
Oh wow.
Good,
Life
good, good,
advice.
good.
That's special.
Life advice.
All my 18 years of wisdom.
You've become a counselor now. All right.
Absolutely. And on my podcast.
That's it on the ladder.
She's claiming it as her own.
That's it, guys.
So I feel like for year 12, that was the most recent to me. So I have more advice to give. I definitely think try your best. That's what I did. It paid off. But also don't feel bad if you're not giving it your all at one point. Everyone's been there and they're like, I just don't want to do it today. I can't. You know, you know what I mean? No motivation, and you're just like, no. So I feel like a good example is trials to the HSC for me. So that little period there, trials, I was really going hard with studying, getting stressed. I had mad anxiety at that point. It was super bad, but also prepared me for the HSC, where the night before my business exam, which was, to me was my most important, well, I was at my mate's house and we weren't doing much. So I feel like if you put in the work, it will be easy for you. And I think
like have a balance kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. It takes a lot of hard work to make something simple, is what I lived by. So I really liked being able to explain something to someone without, stuttering, or I really liked being fluid. When you teach someone, that's how you learn as well. So it's sort of, until I got to a point where I could fluidly say something, or the content would just, a free flow out of my mouth, I could I'd study really hard. So that's basically just try your hardest until you don't have to anymore, and then that's when you know that you've learned something.
For sure.
Year 12s, listen up. That's some great advice.
I'm looking at my notes.
Looking at the notes. Yeah, I think you raise a good point though. Like, you don't want to come out of the year 12 and be like, I could have done better. You know what I mean? But you also don't want to come out like dead. Like, because that's just not healthy. Yeah
100%. And I mean, like, I can vouch for all of us saying that, like, high school easily the best time of our life so far, and obviously try your absolute hardest, but also have a good time as well. Enjoy it while it lasts, and
for sure,
try your best with all your friends. And if you try your best, then be 100% proud of that.
Yeah, like as I said, I loved school, and I knew that when it was over, I'd be so upset. So making the most out of everything, even when you're like, I don't like this, like I don't want to. I remember the worst thing about school that I remember now, it wasn't even the studying, it was the after school, and none of us had our license at the time. So it would be like in the summer, and having to like sit and wait, and everyone would. Do you remember the lines going out of school, the bus lines? That I remember complaining every afternoon. I was like, I feel like a chicken. Like I felt so squished, and that was just the worst thing that I remember.
I feel like they could have brought us out quicker. Like, surely there was a way.
100%. Yeah. Other schools, they were already, like
I know.
Everywhere.
I mean, but like I reckon you're about to say, but like you look back and you're like, yeah.
That was a memory. So my advice for, I guess, year 7, 8, 9, in my notes, I really haven't been specific. I said, don't be a shit kid.
Great advice.
I know. But that's, a bit, I don't know. I was a shit kid in year 7, 8.
Do you reckon, do you reckon maybe it's like kind of build the fundamentals?
Yeah. So there was a period where I had I was in a group of friends where they were the troublemakers. I wasn't particularly, in my brain I always knew, I was like, I don't even like these people, but I guess they were like who I thought I should be friends with at the time, and I was like, oh, cool. But I really wasn't like them at all, and I knew that, and I was really conscious of what the teachers would think of me and stuff like that, because I knew that eventually I wanted to do well in school, but at the time I was like, whatever works for me at the moment. So I think you are who you hang around. That's another thing as well,
especially when you're young, right? You're so influenced by the people you hang around. So much is changing. You want to fit in, and people feel like they have to hang around certain characters to act cool and be cool, especially for guys, I know, and it doesn't have to be that case. But I think, build the fundamentals, right? Because you're still like growing, you're still like learning everything. Be polite, simple stuff.
Just be yourself. If you be yourself, then people will be attracted to your personality and you. And when that is the case, then you will get the best friends out there. And that is facts.
Yeah, for sure. Whatever makes you happy, and whatever, and maybe uncomfortable. I know I had to move groups because I was like, I don't like where I am, so I have to, go to my actual mates where I know that I'll be happy in that.
Yeah.
And it's definitely difficult because you don't want to stir the pot. So I feel like, being friends with everyone, you can slowly, gradually progress to where you want to be.
For sure. Yeah, you do raise some good points there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So look at
mean,
this,
this is my
Laura.
podcast.
This is your podcast, right? Far out.
The Laura It Easy podcast. That's
More wisdom than Master Ugwe. Jesus.
But all right, last piece of advice before we finish off. What would be a piece of advice or quote or something that you've lived by that you might give to anyone watching, whether they be old or young or anything?
We're expecting something big. You
Yeah.
have prepared for this, after all.
I said all of my points, so this is but yeah, basically just summing up everything that I've said. Try your hardest, be yourself, be happy, be on the top of the world, and you'll be fine. Always think positively. Don't have a pessimistic outlook on school, because otherwise you'll come out with that. So if you're optimistic about everything and you want to make the most out of everything, even sitting in a math class, you can make that fun. Just
For sure.
math in a math class, who did that? No, you draw, like you have a competition with someone, be thankful for those moments where you have to be quiet, but you're laughing, you're dying with your friend. You have to like do like the
Those are the best moments.
in an assembly where you have to like your stomach's cramping up because you're laughing so hard. Remember that person that spoke, I forgot who he was. He was like the really
Forever?
old guy, and he spoke for years. Oh my goodness, about his wife. From
Thailand or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, from
she was
Thailand
like
to
30.
Vietnam or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Class.
just make the most out of all those things where you're like, I don't want to be here right now. Like that's a memory. So yeah, think of it like that.
I can
That's some great advice. Well, Laura, thanks so much for coming on the podcast with us. We've had
She'll be on plenty more for sure. It is her podcast now, after all.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome.
It was
Guys,
so
make sure to go follow Laura on TikTok. She's massive, huge. She's got like 100,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah,
Go
we
give
can
her a
chuck the
follow,
socials in the description for sure.
Yeah,
We'll
we
do that.
can definitely do that. So if you guys want to reach
Hey.
out, if you guys want to reach out to any of the guests that have been on today, then we'll pop them in the description. But again, thanks so much. We really appreciate having you on, and we will talk very soon in the future. Before we start, Marcus, is there anything like you don't want us to talk about? Or-
No.
Yes, guys, we have our third and final guest of the day, one of our best mates, Marcus Pather. Marcus, welcome to the Taking It Easy podcast. How you doing, bro?
Thanks, man. Not too bad. Yourself?
That's good, mate. Yeah, no, we're doing well, man. You're the last guest, the best to last, I guess.
Can I say, man?
We were waiting for it. We got the whole different kind of perspective so far. We got like Vincent, who's like a mix of kind of like the smart but also like sporty. We've got Laura, who like puts herself out there, but let's be honest, Laura's a bit of a nerd and she's very smart. And Marcus, Mischief Marcus, bro, I fucking love it. But I don't want to knock that against you, because you are a very smart kid. But we wanted to get
done better.
bro. You did class. You
did well.
I did it right.
We can say that you comfortably did better than me.
Lad, bro, I remember the maths exam. All right,
Oh.
I did okay. I got like 90 in the maths exam. I was chill. But I remember everyone's stressing out. All right, everyone's like shitting themselves.
Bro, he's living up to
And
the
this guy-
Indian stereotype with a 90.
Shut up. Anyways, this guy walks out and he's got his freaking equation sheet, and it's a freaking Picasso artwork, bro.
All that abstract shit.
Yes, no, I will say that maths isn't my strongest subject, or never has been. So for the HSC maths paper, they put like 30 questions from the advanced paper in the standard paper.
It was clapped.
So
yeah.
I obviously had zero idea of how to do any of them. So I did an amazing drawing. You know how as kids you used to draw those like stick figure wars, where it was like you drew the trenches and the battlefield with the stick figures? Yeah, I spent an hour drawing that in the HSC maths exam. Yes, so that was
Different breed.
different gravy. But Marcus, what would you say, like coming into year 7, what was primary school like, and coming into year 7 like for you, dude?
I used to live in Queensland for most of my primary school. So
Oh, wow.
up until year 4, I lived in like a place called Mount Isa. I don't know if you.
We'll show
I think
Mount
I've told
Isa.
you boys about
Yeah.
it.
No, we
Yeah.
know.
I've told you,
yeah.
Pat.
Yeah.
Well, so
just like central Queensland. It's pretty remote.
Pretty rude.
There's not that many people there. So I went to a school where there's like a lot of white people and Aboriginal people. So, anyways, so that's what I was kind of brought up with. And then I moved to Sydney in like year 5, right? Now I'm obviously an immigrant. So
why'd you make that sound funny?
Well, I'm telling you guys, this guy can make anything sound funny.
Anyway, so I come here, year 5. I go.
I mean, yeah, look at him. He's wearing an Arsenal jersey. It is. That's the start. It's the start. All right. Okay. But that was a violation. That was a late violation. Continue.
I went to Homebush Public School, right? All right. So this place, full of Indians, full of Koreans. There's like no white people. So for the first time in my life, I was like, majority, and then. But then I wasn't white enough to play with the white kids at public school in Mount Isa.
Is that how it works?
And then I wasn't like Indian enough to play with the Indian kids at Homebush. So I always kind of struggled with like identity.
I think that's interesting though. Like all jokes aside, we can laugh about it, but like you came into like from what I can remember. Obviously, I came in year 8, but you were like a bit of a shy kid, Marcus. Like you weren't like the person that you kind of developed into like I guess from like mid year 10 to end of year 12.
I don't know, when you came to the school, I guess I kind of had no friends, bro. I had friends in year 7 because obviously everyone's new and everyone's trying to make friends. And year 8, I guess I had a few mates.
You didn't really have a
solid
circle,
friendship.
A circle.
Yes.
Not a group.
You hopped around a little bit, but you weren't like distinct. Oh, this is my group. This is my ride or dies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then same thing in year 9, and then year 10.
How was that like for you? Like in those stages before, like obviously you came to the boys, like us now.
Oh, it's just sad, man. I would just go to school and just school, go and do my work. Imagine going to school and doing your work, bro.
Did you find that like being funny and kind of like being the clown was your way to kind of people accept you and like you be like, I don't know, kind of like fit in with everyone?
My way to get society to accept it. No.
Because it's always been like that. Ever since you joined our group, it's like, fuck, Marcus is like the glue to like because he's just so funny.
Literally.
I just get bullied, bro. What are you talking about?
No, but like that, Marcus has like...
In a friendly way.
Marcus has like the toughest skin, but like he's like the rubber, so... Someone says something, bounces off him, comes back. It's just that great banter that, like, keeps the group together, I guess. Yeah, with Marcus, especially we made so in like our group that we wouldn't like cross the line. Obviously, and that's the same with like obviously in high school, like people fuck up and say bad things, and like we don't have to go into detail about that. But like
Rowan's smiling now, bro.
You can't hold it in at the right time. We've gone this far now.
Back on track.
No. But like we always made sure that like as friends of Marcus that like we would like we're there's always a level of respect with any single 100%. Friend that you have. But most of the time you were the one administering all the jokes. You really were. I mean let's really kind of talk about it, okay? Let's talk about the time that you put a hole in the wall at school unintentionally.
I've since posted on my Instagram and an admittance from the other person involved.
Do we have a photo? We have a photo of it. We can show.
We have a photo and video. We'll definitely put it up on the podcast. Yeah, we'll put it up.
So anyways, so it was Thursday. We have sport on Thursday, right? But in year 12, we have study. So you can go and study in rooms. So I went to a room and good mate Jude's there. Okay. So we started horsing around, as you do. And some reason I don't know, I got on his back and he decided to freaking push me into a wall and my ass went through the wall.
I just genuinely think that he couldn't carry you. Like
he said he did it on purpose, bro.
And guys, you'll be able to see the destruction up here, but like That has carried on. That has carried on with Marcus. I think till it will to his grave with all of the boys at least.
Yeah,
That's
for
my
sure.
identity.
Like I just
What the
remember
funny
we were in one of the demountable rooms, and you just throw my English book out of the classroom, like onto this like back area where like the road is. And there was no way of me getting it. You just threw it out for no reason.
Yeah,
But it's
I would've
funny
got it,
because I
though.
never saw Marcus as like, oh, Marcus is such a dickhead. Marcus was always so fucking funny, but just one of those people who consistently crossed the lines, but actually was a good kid. And that's
Yeah, but he's also like so nice.
yeah, for sure.
Thanks, man.
Nah.
We
But, like,
wouldn't
so
have you
with-
on otherwise.
Yeah, so like with all these other funny stories as well, I kind of taken like a step back. So when do you think you kind of like found like, oh, like these are the people that I can like be myself around and, you know, like click with kind of thing?
Probably like around year 11, bro. Because I don't know. I'd even say then, like, I wasn't. I was being myself at the time, which has changed a lot in like the past year and a bit. You know. So I can't. From what I remember, I was completely different. So I guess I could call that myself then. But
That's
yeah, it
cool.
was probably around year 11. Kind of started getting invited to stuff and all that. So I don't know. Everyone found me annoying at the start, which I don't blame them. I look back at myself like I was unbearable, bro.
Yeah, but I feel like the person you've developed into, like, and like you said, the person you are now, being yourself and just putting your heart on your sleeve and just being who you are. That's why we all love you, for the boys, and why people like appreciate you and everything like that, which is like so good that you've been able to develop. Do you reckon high school developed you into that person, or like through other experiences that you might have had in your life?
It's a mix of a lot of it, man. Like high school, I don't know. You kind of have to mature quickly. Like if you're not at that stage, you kind of have to mature quickly. You know,
Yeah.
with the HSC coming on and everything. Or you don't. You can just be like Rowan. And just...
It's funny because we see Rowan talking, we're like, fuck, that kid must have done so well in school, but Rowan just didn't really care. And
Yeah, no. Well, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
some people just
I kind of,
Not
my
for everyone.
mindset was, like, I just want to have a good time at school. I want to create memories with like all my friends and stuff like that.
and we definitely
But-
did. Yeah.
Like we
we
joke
did.
about it, but there's nothing wrong with it, bro. It was a lot of fun. And
That's it.
dude, mid HSC, we were like going out and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah. It was fun as.
Yeah,
And
it was a lot of fun.
if we can like talk about, I don't know, was there like a specific class or something that like really brought you close to somebody, or just like, I don't know, like a specific teacher that you had, or one subject, one year group that, or 1 year, sorry, that just changed you. You know what I mean?
Well, year 11, year 12, I don't think I had any classes with any of the boys, except for Alex.
Yeah.
And Alex was always the guy who was like, you know, kind of tough. You know, he's very kind of bleak to strangers. But what is this
Yeah.
light? Holy shit. No, he's kind of
It's
always
coming
like
back.
the top. No, lad, the sun's coming up now.
Jesus is entering the building.
Yeah, anyways, Alex is like kind
Jesus
of
has left the
tough,
lobby. Jesus
you know.
is back. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Lad, I'm trying to talk.
Go on.
Anyways,
Go on.
So Alex is kind of the last person I became friends with, you know. So I don't know. I was kind of friends with Leroy and all you guys, but then I had a class with Alex, like year 11, and I was trying to be like cool, so I could be mates with Alex, you know. So that kind of chilled me out a lot more as well.
Do you feel like throughout high school you've had to like change your personality to fit in with different people, or you've just been you?
I think early on I changed a lot for other people, really. Like from the music I listened to freaking, you know, what I was watching on TV and all that. Like I don't know, I tried to change myself, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
year 7 I was friends with like the anime kids. So I was, which is I kind of regret. Anyways, so and then
But we were talking about this before, because it's like when you're younger, like especially like probably like year 7 to year 9, like so much is going on like physiologically, right? So you're constantly feeling like you have to fit in and feel like belonged or whatever. So obviously you're not going to be like, that's not necessarily you. It's just you changing. And then eventually when you like blossomed into like, I don't know, year 11 and year 12, you said you kind of found a group. Surely that's just like the true person that you are. Do you kind of see it that way?
Yeah, 100%. By the time like year 12 came around, year 11 even, I'd say more year 12. I'm just gonna be myself, you know.
And that's the way to be. Yeah.
And it's not something you consciously decide. It's just something that happens over time, you know.
Well, I mean, like when you're around the right people and with a good group of people,
Exactly.
it just comes out like
Yeah.
like this is
100%,
me.
100%.
I trust you guys. I feel comfortable with you guys. So like let's form a connection. And I mean, like that's super important. And I mean, I've found that with all of you boys, and I'm sure we all have within our friendship group. And like it's like that's the thing. We made some of the best memories in year 11 and 12. You know, that was just
100%.
from all being ourselves and trusting each other, and just having that great time in year 12 and still working hard. So yeah, man, that was.
Yeah, bro. As bad as last year was with COVID and everything, it was probably the best year of my life so far.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
100%.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
we could
right.
all agree. It's funny. 'cause
Yeah.
Most people were like, look, oh, what a shit year it must have been, blah, blah, blah. We had the time
Yeah.
of our lives. Like, okay, yeah, online school for a month was shit. And I
Bro,
think
this
everyone
year's
can
worse
agree.
with COVID.
But that's what I mean.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
this
exactly.
year's worse. So, like, for any year 12s watching,
Stay,
I really feel
stick
for you
with
guys.
it. Stick with it.
it
It'll
though,
be
and,
good.
and don't be afraid to reach out, obviously.
Yeah.
But
That's it. I mean, like hard work does pay off, 100%. So if you work hard from home or in the office or anywhere or at school, if you work hard, you'll see the results. It might take
If you're in year
time, but you'll see
11,
the results.
work hard as well.
Yeah, exactly,
You know?
100%. So
You get the early entry, then you have to you don't have to do anything for HSC.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
yeah, so
like-
literally.
You did as well.
like talking about going back to like early school markers, would there be anything that kind of like you say you might have like regretted not doing or regretted a situation that happened or I know a situation or experience?
There's a lot of
There has to be.
yeah.
Surely some things though, like you're like, oh, I got a suspension for this, but it was kind of funny.
Bro, I got okay. Let me tell the viewers, right? I got suspended 3 times throughout high school. Right? So the first time, it was so stupid. It's not even funny. It was just a bad luck.
Yeah.
So this freaking. How would you describe Adam? He's a bit
I'd
of a
probably
nut.
say the sponsor for Red Bull. He'd have like a 6-pack of Red Bull a day plus a mother or two.
He was insane at the time, and he's chilled out now. But at the time, he was.
I
Pretty
just
insane.
remember him eating a banana skin at lunch.
Bro, he brought a whole chicken to school.
Oh, that's yeah. This guy's a bit of a nut, but carry on.
Anyways,
We
so
love Adam. Come on.
we're in a freaking photography class, all right? I did photography in year 9, and was it? Yeah, it was year 9. Anyways,
Yeah.
this kid just lost the plot. He's punching his school laptop, right? Because he wants to get a new laptop. He's just beating the shit out of it. So I punched it once. I thought it was funny, and someone recorded it. Okay. And I was like, okay, big deal, whatever. So Adam takes the video to the IT help desk and tries to get a replacement laptop. Said, "Oh, this guy broke my computer. Can I get a replacement?" And then he's such an idiot. The IT skipped back in the video and saw him punching his laptop as well.
He went down in flames with you.
Yeah, he got worse suspension than me, bro. He got at home suspension.
Oh,
I got in school,
that's
Oh
tough.
my
and then
days.
yeah.
The
So
second
I
one,
regret-
the second one we don't talk about.
we don't talk about this. We don't talk about.
It was just one of those things you had to be there. You had to be there.
I would do it again. What? I would do it again.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. No,
And the
what was
third
it
one.
The third. No.
See, you can't even remember now. Shit.
I think the third one we don't talk about.
Jesus Christ.
Let's just say
you
the
had too
last
many.
2 we don't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get in trouble for that.
But like,
Oh
yeah, but they would
my
say like you would
days.
like regret both, like all 3 of those suspensions, or
Yeah, at
Well,
the time. But now looking back at it, it's kind of funny, you know. I can't lie.
Yeah.
It's on my school record, but it's kind of
that's
funny,
true.
you know.
Yeah,
Kinda
that's
like-
very true. Like,
Yeah.
what about like different like? Were you the person in high school that took a lot of the opportunities given by like co-curricular, like rep sport or exchange or different trips and stuff? Or
Not really. I don't know. I've played rep sport, I guess. I played rep rugby league.
yeah,
Oh yeah, and then that's pretty much all I played for school.
yeah.
I was in the cricket. I was on the fringes of the cricket team because I never
Oh,
actually
that
went
was
to
awesome.
tryouts.
That I will never forget that. I will never forget
Yeah,
that.
bro. I remember missing like 5 catches.
It was the funniest moment where like we put Marcus in the fielding position that never ever gets catches, and in the same over like 2 balls just go straight to him, and instead of just not moving at all and waiting for the ball, he runs forward and it goes over his head. It's so funny.
That was the worst day of my life, bro.
Oh, Marcus, we loved it, bro. We loved it. You
Yeah.
made the team. You made the team. And like I think it like it's cool to talk to somebody like you because you've kind of had a very interesting high school experience, like not really fitting in at first and then finding like a distinct group in the end and like really
Now
kind
in
of
uni.
really kind of being like the gel to that group, and now in uni studying
A Bachelor of IT
that's it.
at Macquarie Uni, so it's alright.
That's it.
Yeah.
And how is it?
How is it?
I'm not really enjoying it that much, to be honest. And like, I don't know.
Was uni like drastically different from school when you first came out? Like, how's your experience been with uni?
I feel like it might be it is different.
Yeah.
But you try and make it as much as high school as you can, like in your own head, I guess. You know, like I'm gonna allocate this time to do this or this time to do that, because you're given a lot more freedom with uni.
But it's not as fun as school, surely.
No, 100% not.
Yeah.
I met like 2 people that I wouldn't even call them friends. I'd call them like
Acquaintances.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like with that Bachelor of IT degree you're doing, so like looking forward for like your future career, do you want to have something to do in IT or do you want to like run your own business, or is it like completely different to what you're studying at the moment?
Lad, the crazy thing is, all right, I've told you boys about this. I don't know if I've spoken to you about this, Rowan. But anyways, I got a job with my dad's company. My dad's obviously an IT worker. Look, there's his monitor. One
the setup.
Yeah, the dual monitor setup.
Wait, the setup.
He's got it.
I got his old monitors here. No, anyways, so he works for an IT company, and he's a mate since like I think uni. His boss. So he's like, you know, they're looking for someone new, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, my dad's pretty good at what he does. So they were like, we'll give your kid a shot, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's cool.
I've
See
got
if
the
it runs
job,
in the
man.
genes.
Quite mad.
That's it.
Yeah. So I've got my notebook. This is bro. It's draining. I don't know. I'm not doing like a full 8 hours a day though.
Yeah.
But it
Do you enjoy
I feel like
working
with
though?
I feel like with IT,
I enjoy
it's
it.
like
Yeah.
it's like more, you know, mentally draining than like other jobs because it's so like, you know, technological problems kind of thing.
yeah,
would you
yeah,
say?
yeah.
And you're like
Yeah,
very
100%.
stationary. You're not like out and about, kind of like.
Yeah, bro. I'm at my desk for like 5 hours.
Yeah. That's the thing, because we obviously work on the job site with Marcus as well, and it's like drastically different.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fun, bro.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. We're not
So
gonna
would you
lie,
say, like-
we love it there.
Yeah. So would you say like IT is something that you want to do in your career, or do you want to do like something completely different? Would you say, if you know it all?
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know what I wanted to do until like a couple months before the HSC, so it was quite
Yeah,
mad.
right.
But now I know. I like what I'm doing now, and
Yeah.
I'd like to go forward in that. So yeah.
What about
But-
your passion for music as well, though? Because like we know.
I
you
was
have a
gonna
big passion
say.
for
I was gonna
music.
say.
Yeah.
Marcus is a freak at guitar. He shreds. He
No,
loves
no,
all
not-
the old school stuff.
No,
No,
I'm
seriously,
not.
like he's a really good guitar player. And
Okay.
yeah, like I mean, I know when I was at school, I'd be playing guitars in the morning and stuff like that, and then Marcus would come in and he'd be like, "Oh, bro, like I'd love to learn how to play," and then like me, just does it. Like bought a guitar, just started, and now he's doing really well. So how's
Yeah,
that
bro, you just bought an awesome guitar. Sick.
pursuit of happiness,
Explorer.
pursuit of music going, man?
Explorer, bro. If there's anything I could do, all right, if I could fulfill any dream, I want to be freaking in a massive band. Just you know.
Yeah.
But
Who says you can't do it?
Yeah, man.
Bro, this
Do we
That's
create a
what my
band?
dad
Does
said.
the podcast create a band? Do we?
that's bro exactly.
Rowan
right?
shreds on guitar.
Rowan,
I can sing. I'd be down to like learn the triangle or some shit.
Callum on drums, Christian
Callum
on
on
bass.
bro, I haven't spoken to Christian in like this year.
Yeah, no, it's kind of weird. So with like a lot of your friends like in high school, do you feel like they've like after high school you've all kind of went your separate ways, or you've stuck together with more people than others, or
You know what's mad? All right, some of us got tighter than we were in school, and some of us obviously have drifted apart. All right, like
that's just
I
how
don't
it
speak to
works.
freaking like I don't know
A bunch
Johnny
of people.
P or anything. Like I used to be
Yeah,
best
yeah.
mates with Johnny P. I don't speak to him
Yeah.
anymore, which is a bit sad. But yeah,
That's just
And-
that's just life.
just
We'll all
life, bro,
see each
yeah.
other in the 10-year reunion or whatever.
yeah.
That's
But
it.
the thing is, I'm like talking to people, mates with people that I was never friends with in high school. You know,
Yeah, and I was talking to Rowan about this because Rowan are always friends. We didn't get really close until after high school.
Yeah.
I was always friends with Rowan as well. Yeah, we
Yeah.
we didn't really get close until like year 12, I guess. You guys freaking lived together, bro. So
Yeah, Pat and I were always like at each
Basically.
other's places.
Not now.
Obviously not now with COVID.
Not now.
Not now, Gladys. Don't send the FBI or things to our house at the moment. But
Glasses comes in the FBI. Lad.
no, but yeah, it's cool to think that like during high school, obviously I wasn't like super close to both of you. Obviously year 10, Pat and I had math class together. And I've been to couple of different classes with Marcus as well, I think. But it's kind of cool that school's finished and it has been for a year, but all of us have become so much closer. Like I would never thought I'd be as close to Marcus and Pat as I am now. You know, and
Fuck,
go
My
on.
parents were saying like, you go to uni and you
Yeah.
find new friends, and it's gonna be hard, to stay mates with everyone. But it's
Yeah.
just
I totally disagree.
I feel like we all kind of all the boys at least we all kind of gravitate towards each other anyways.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it,
100%.
It's been
Yeah.
weird because like I feel like we all have our own like distinct sense of humor, but then again, it's like, well, it's weird because everybody expects you to go to uni and kind of move on with your life, and that has not happened with practically everybody in our group. Like
Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
kind of still stuck together, and I think that's a really cool thing.
Because I've had different parents and friends' parents tell me that like you go to uni and your high school friends, they just fade. Like that's what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, that's what you get.
But I feel like
well, time will tell, bro. I guess.
yeah, and I feel like one thing like my nan said it to me like ages ago was that like with relationships or friendships, like to have a good friendship and relationship, it's like building a house. You want to have a good solid concrete foundation. So when you build a house and the house falls over, then you can come back to that foundation. And I feel like all of us boys, we've built that solid foundation. So whenever or if we go our separate ways, and we're not as close as we were, we can always come back to that solid foundation of yeah, exactly. So I mean, I feel like, and I've loved being able to get close with all you boys after school.
Yeah.
It's definitely developed my character 100%.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy to how the people you surround yourself with really impact the character you are, especially in high school. Like, would you agree,
Oh, yeah.
Marcus? Like,
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
and speaking of that, like, if to end it off, if Marcus right now could go back and give himself some advice when he started year 7 and when he started year 12 separately, what kind of advice would you give? Starting with year 7.
Oh, year 7. I've got a few pieces of advice. All right.
Here we go.
So don't try and listen to other music to try and fit in. Alright? You're gonna listen to some Beatles music, all right? And then bro, fucking exercise, you fat ass.
No, you're not
You've
fat.
lost a
Bro, year
shit ton of weight.
7.
Yeah,
Year
I've lost
7.
so much.
I mean,
was
we've had the
actually a
photos. We've had
planet,
the
bro.
photos. Yeah.
I was so fat. I am pretty chubby now, but
Bro, you've slimmed up an absurd amount.
Just
And
how
I'm
you
not just saying
described
that.
it, you were a planet. No, but don't worry, I was the same, bro. I was the same. We have a picture up earlier in the podcast of me.
Rowan was a
in
big hunk of man meat.
I was a big hunk of man meat. But I mean, like, that's the thing. I feel like, obviously, all the boys in the group are super sporty, and now you've, like, slimmed down so much and and in great shape, man. And the only way
Oh,
is to go up.
I'll put on the pounds, bro. Lockdown. It's not good.
It's tough, man.
got a biscuit here, bro.
But you're like veggie. You're practically like you've given up red meat, so surely that's helped. Like, you know.
Oh yeah, how was that? Like, what was that decision turning like vegetarian?
Oh, year 12, bro. I don't know. It was just like, yeah, gonna go vegetarian.
Did
I
you
think-
want to like try it just because it was something new, or was there something behind it?
Bro, it was pretty spur of the moment, if I'm honest, which is quite weird. It's not very like me. So,
Yeah.
I wasn't driving. I was in the car with my parents, and we were driving to my nan's house. She lives out in like, Liverpool. So, anyways, we go and we see this, which is not very often in Sydney. There's you know those big trucks that carry the cows.
Yeah.
So they take the cows obviously to go and get killed. It was a bit sad. But that reminded me of like back where I used to live in Mount Isa, and there was like every day there was those big trucks used to take the cows. I was like, damn, no, it's sad, isn't it? They just they look so cute, bro. I don't know. I haven't eaten cow since that day.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Just quite
bro.
mad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I started eating chicken again. Obviously, chicken is. I mean, I'm half African, bro. So
It's a like,
That's it.
yeah. And fish as well, right? You do have like fish.
yeah, I fish. Fish is good.
Yeah.
You don't eat fish, Pat. You eat fish.
I actually
still.
don't. I don't like
Or
fish.
dairy or gluten.
Yeah,
Rowan's touching on the
I'm basically air free. So if I went vegetarian, I would be consuming salad and air for the rest of my life.
It's just have a nibble in the garden.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll live off the livestock in my backyard.
live off the lawn and hedges.
Yes, yeah, bro. I couldn't respect to all the veggies, and I do understand like the way our animals are slaughtered is a bit fucked, but I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
There's like nothing else I could pretty much eat. So yeah,
You flex and pat. Just
huh?
I remember, like, I think it was
you
like,
should give him a little flex pat.
I think you go on, Jim.
A little flex.
Give him a little flex pat. Show him what's up. Show him why you need the meat.
Oh, me? No,
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the transformation.
That's it. I
Well,
like
Pat
it.
eats steak, bro, and I respect it. I
Optimus
remember, like,
Prime.
year nine, you were like, bro, you were a lot shorter than you were now. Okay,
I genuinely think I haven't grown that much since.
you've grown since year 9. Anyways,
for sure.
I was over your house one day, and we were setting up your YouTube channel, I think. And you were like, bro, why am I not growing? I was like, bro, do you eat fish?
Oh, I
Like,
remember that, bro.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I had this like sudden
Fish
desire
oil.
to have fish oil.
Fish oil, bro, because I didn't know what I was
But
talking
the even
about,
funnier
bro.
story is this. The even funnier story is this. So back then I didn't know how to swallow capsules. So
I used to make funny.
this is so funny. So I used to puncture the fish oil capsule with my teeth and drink the fish oil from the capsule.
Bro, you've pissed yourself in the cinema. Now
I-
you drink
I
fish
was
oil.
a
What's next?
Different.
That's grim, bro.
Yeah.
That is grim.
Straight up different gravy.
It was
Pat.
a little bit disgusting now looking back
Oh
at
my
it.
goodness.
Yeah, I do
That's
know how
crazy.
to swallow tablets now, so that's
Thank God.
yeah.
Good robot. Good job, buddy.
Marcus, what would you give advice to a year 12 right now?
To me in year 12,
Or just to a year
Just-
12 in general. Yeah.
oh, to all year 12.
yeah. I
I'm going to
guess
send this to Miss Clark. Yeah.
we should probably
Anyway.
leave that out in case if she doesn't.
No,
want-
no, because she asked, she requested it. Anyway, whatever.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
anyways, so I'd say, just put your head down and do some work, but have fun also. Year 12 is a good year. But HSC, just try your best. Best is all you can do. And then schoolies, bro. Schoolies is fucking bull. So.
So,
Schoolies is
and
always
then
mad.
right before we finish, Marcus, we've asked everyone this. What would be one piece of life advice you would give to anyone watching, whether that be like older people, younger people? Like, what piece of life advice would you give to everyone listening today?
Just be yourself, all right? Be yourself.
Yes.
Don't try and be anyone else. Don't try and act a certain way.
That is it.
You know what my idol Kurt Cobain said? He said, "Trying to be someone else is a waste of who you are."
Oh,
And I live by that, bro.
that's
That
mad. That's
is
some good advice. I rate that, bro.
Good way to end
Well,
it, guys. Feel free to
that's
catch
it.
us on
Yeah.
all our socials. Mad respect to Marcus for coming on. We love you.
100%.
Mate,
Yeah, thanks
I
so
better be
much
on
for
again.
coming
All
on.
right, I've got way
Marcus
more
deserves
stories,
his
bro.
own episode.
Yes,
in a
with
row.
all the
I'm
stories.
not gonna
That's
lie.
it.
We might have him on another one, but yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to give a like, subscribe, share this around to your friends, family, so on and so forth. Marcus, thank you once again.
Thanks so much, Marcus.
Thanks,
And
Ian,
guys,
Rowan.
next week, special week, we have a guest.
We do have a
That's
proper
right.
full guest.
We have
Who's
a
the
proper
guest?
full guest.
Tell me the guest.
Who's the
You'll have
guest?
to wait and see.
Oh,
That's it. You're
cliffhanger.
gonna have to tune in next week. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
guys, thanks so much for tuning in. It's been so fun to have all of our friends on. It's been a great ride. So take care and peace. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Peace.
See you guys.